Welcome back to part 2 of Vivian and Tiang's epic love story. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go back and start there so you understand how a drugged night at a hotel turned into a contract marriage between a black woman and a Korean billionaire who can only touch her. In this part, Vivian goes back to university, faces her jealous sister, and discovers she has talents she never knew existed. Things are about to get dramatic. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you're loving this story. Now let's continue. I love to know where my audience are watching from. Kindly comments where you're watching from. Now let's get into the story. Vivian woke the next morning to sunlight streaming through the enormous windows of her bedroom. For a moment she was disoriented, forgetting where she was. Then memory returned and she sat up slowly, taking in the luxurious room that was now hers. She had slept better than she had in years. The bed was like sleeping on a cloud, the sheets were soft as silk, and for the first time in 6 years, she had not been woken at 4:30 by an alarm to start cooking breakfast for people who did not appreciate her. There was a gentle knock on her door, and Suki entered with a warm smile, carrying a tray. "Good morning, Mrs. Kim," she said. "I brought you breakfast in bed. Grandmother Hana thought you might want to rest this morning before the big engagement party tonight." Vivian looked at the tray and her eyes widened. Fresh fruit, yogurt with honey and nuts, perfectly toasted bread with butter and jam, scrambled eggs that looked fluffy and perfect, and a pot of tea that smelled like jasmine and bergamot. "This is too much," Vivian said. "I can come down for breakfast. I do not need to be served." Suki set the tray on the small table by the window. "Mrs. Kim, you are the lady of this house now. Of course you should be served. Besides, Grandmother Hana insists. She wants you to feel pampered and cared for." After Suki left, Vivian ate slowly, savoring every bite. The food was incredible, so much better than the scraps she used to eat after the Carters finished their meals. She felt tears prick her eyes as she realized this was her life now. She would never have to beg for food again. Never have to eat standing up in the kitchen, alone and invisible. After breakfast, Vivian showered in the enormous bathroom, using the luxury products that made her skin feel soft and her hair smell like flowers. She wrapped herself in the plush robe and was trying to decide what to wear when there was another knock. This time it was Grandmother Hana herself, looking elegant in a cream-colored hanbok embroidered with delicate flowers. "Good morning, dear," she said. "I hope you slept well." "Better than I have in years," Vivian admitted. "Thank you for everything, Mrs. Kim." "I told you to call me Grandmother," Grandmother Hana said with a warm smile. "Now come. I want you to have breakfast with Tiang and me properly. Suki said you ate in your room, but family should eat together." "But I already ate," Vivian protested. "Then you can have tea and keep us company," Grandmother Hana said. "Come, get dressed, something casual. We are just family this morning." Vivian found a simple but elegant dress in the closet, soft gray with subtle embroidery at the neckline. When she came downstairs to the breakfast room, she found Tiang already seated at the table, reading something on his tablet while he ate. He looked up when she entered, and something flickered in his eyes. He stood politely and pulled out a chair for her. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning," Vivian replied, sitting down. The breakfast room was smaller and more intimate than the formal dining room from last night. Large windows overlooked the gardens, and morning sunlight filled the space with warmth. The table was set with simple but beautiful dishes, and the smell of fresh coffee and baked bread filled the air. Grandmother Hana chatted happily as staff brought fresh tea for Vivian and more coffee for Tiang. She talked about the engagement party plans, the guest list that had grown to over 200 people, the photographer she had hired, the music ensemble that would play. Vivian listened with growing anxiety. 200 people, all coming to celebrate an engagement that was really just a business contract, all expecting her to play the role of the happy bride when she barely knew the man she was supposed to marry. "Are you worried about tonight?" Tiang asked, watching her face. Vivian nodded. "I have never been to a party like this. I do not know how to act around wealthy people. What if I embarrass you?" "You could never embarrass me," Tiang said. "Just be yourself. That is enough." But Grandmother Hana had other ideas. After breakfast, she whisked Vivian away to what she called the preparation room. It turned out to be an entire suite dedicated to getting ready for events, complete with a salon chair, professional lighting, and racks of gowns. "We have a team coming at 3 to get you ready," Grandmother Hana said. "Hair, makeup, styling. You will be the most beautiful woman at the party." "This is too much," Vivian said, for what felt like the 100th time. "Nonsense," Grandmother Hana said. "You are marrying into one of the wealthiest families in the country. People will be watching you, judging you, looking for any sign of weakness. We need to show them that you belong, that you are strong, confident, and absolutely worthy of my grandson." She took Vivian's hands gently. "I know this is overwhelming, dear, but trust me. I have navigated these social waters for 50 years. I will teach you everything you need to know. You will not fail because I will not let you fail." Vivian felt tears threaten again. "Why are you being so kind to me? You barely know me." Grandmother Hana smiled sadly. "I told you. I see myself in you. When I married into the Kim family, my husband's relatives treated me like dirt. They said I was too poor, too uneducated, too common. They tried to break me." Her expression hardened. "But I refused to break. I learned everything I could. I studied etiquette, culture, and business. I made myself indispensable, and eventually I became the matriarch of this family. No one dares disrespect me now." She squeezed Vivian's hands. "You have that same strength in you. I can see it. You have survived 6 years of abuse, and you have not become bitter or cruel. That takes incredible inner power. Now let me help you channel that power into something the world can see." The rest of the day passed in a blur of preparation. The styling team arrived at 3 and immediately went to work. They washed and conditioned Vivian's hair with products that made it incredibly soft and manageable. They gave her a facial that made her skin glow. They shaped her eyebrows and painted her nails. Then came the dress. Grandmother Hana had commissioned a custom gown, and when Vivian saw it, she gasped. It was stunning. Deep emerald green silk that complemented her dark skin perfectly. The bodice was fitted with delicate beading that caught the light with every movement. The skirt flowed like water, elegant and graceful. When the stylists finished with her hair and makeup, and she finally saw herself in the full-length mirror, Vivian could not believe what she saw. The woman looking back at her was sophisticated, beautiful, and confident. She looked like she belonged in a magazine. She looked like someone who could stand beside a billionaire and not seem out of place. "Oh, my dear," Grandmother Hana said, her eyes filling with tears. "You are absolutely breathtaking." There was a knock on the door and Tiang entered. He stopped dead when he saw Vivian, his eyes widening. "You look," he started, then seemed to lose his words. "You look incredible." "Thank you," Vivian said, feeling heat rise to her cheeks. Tiang himself looked devastatingly handsome in a tailored black tuxedo that emphasized his broad shoulders and lean frame. His dark hair was styled perfectly, and his eyes seemed even more intense than usual as they swept over her. "The guests will be arriving soon," Grandmother Hana said. "It is time." The engagement party was held in the grand ballroom of the Kim estate, a space Vivian had not even known existed. It was enormous, with soaring ceilings, glittering chandeliers, and walls lined with mirrors that made the space seem to go on forever. Flowers covered every surface, thousands of white roses and orchids arranged in elaborate displays. A string quartet played soft classical music in one corner, while waiters in crisp uniforms circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Vivian stood at the entrance with Tiang and Grandmother Hana greeting guests as they arrived. Her hand rested lightly on Tiang's arm, and she tried to smile naturally as strangers congratulated them. The guests were a who's who of high society. Vivian recognized several faces from television and magazines. Business executives, politicians, celebrities. Everyone was impeccably dressed and dripping with jewelry. They all spoke with practiced politeness, but Vivian could feel them assessing her, judging whether she was worthy of the Kim family. "She is so exotic," one woman whispered to her friend, not quite quietly enough. "Where did he find her?" another murmured. "I heard she is from some rural town." Vivian felt her smile falter, but Tiang squeezed her hand gently. "Ignore them," he murmured. "They are jealous." The evening continued and Vivian tried to relax. The food was incredible, tiny perfect bites of culinary art. The champagne was smooth and expensive. A photographer captured every moment, asking them to pose together to dance, to cut the engagement cake. When they danced, Tiang held her carefully, one hand on her waist, the other holding her hand. They moved together slowly to the music, and Vivian was acutely aware of how close he was, how good he smelled, how his body felt against hers. "You are doing wonderfully," he said quietly. "Everyone is impressed." "They are all judging me," Vivian replied. "Let them judge," Tiang said. "You are the one who matters, not them." But then Vivian saw them. The Carters, entering the ballroom with their fake smiles and expensive clothes. Her stomach dropped. "They are here," she said. Tiang followed her gaze, and his expression hardened. "I should have banned them from the guest list." "They are technically my family," Vivian said. "It would have looked strange." Devon approached first, his smile wide and false. "Vivian, congratulations. This is quite the party. The Kims certainly know how to celebrate." Behind him came Diane, looking sophisticated in a gold gown that probably cost more than Vivian used to spend on groceries for the family for an entire year. Bernard followed, already scanning the room for business connections. And finally Celeste, wearing a pink dress that clashed with her skin tone and glaring at Vivian with unconcealed hatred. "We need to talk privately," Diane said to Vivian, her tone making it clear this was not a request. "Anything you need to say can be said in front of my fiancé," Tiang interjected smoothly. Diane's smile became strained. "Of course, we just wanted to discuss some family matters, about the wedding arrangements. Surely Vivian wants her family involved." Vivian opened her mouth to respond, but Diane grabbed her elbow with surprising strength and pulled her aside before Tiang could intervene. They moved to a quiet corner, partially hidden by a massive flower arrangement. "What do you want?" Vivian asked, pulling her arm free. "You cannot go through with this wedding," Diane hissed, dropping all pretense of politeness. "Why not?" Vivian asked, though she already knew what was coming. "Because Celeste deserves to marry into the Kim family, not you," Diane said. "She comes from proper society. She knows how to behave. You are just a country girl playing dress-up." "Celeste is not even your biological daughter," Vivian said quietly. "I am, remember." "That means nothing," Diane snapped. "Blood is not what makes family. Loyalty is, gratitude is, and you have shown neither." "I cooked for you for 6 years," Vivian said, her voice shaking with suppressed anger. "I cleaned your house. I washed your clothes. I did everything you asked, and you never once thanked me. You never once made me feel like I belonged. So do not talk to me about loyalty or gratitude." "How dare you?" Diane raised her hand, as if to slap Vivian. But someone caught her wrist before she could make contact. Tiang had appeared silently at Vivian's side, his grip on Diane's arm firm but not painful. "I would not do that if I were you," he said, his voice cold and dangerous. Diane paled and snatched her hand back. "Mr. Kim, I apologize. Emotions are running high. Family matters." "Vivian is my family now," Tiang said. "You are nothing to her, and if you ever try to hurt her again, you will regret it." His eyes swept over Diane, taking in her expensive dress and jewelry. "I know your family's business is failing," he said conversationally. "I know you are drowning in debt, and I know you came here tonight hoping to use Vivian's connection to me to save yourselves." He stepped closer, and Diane actually took a step back. "But let me be very clear. You will get nothing from me, nothing from my family. And if you continue to harass my fiancé, I will make sure every bank in the country knows not to extend you credit. I will make sure every business partner drops you. I will personally ensure that Carter Enterprises goes under so completely that you will have nothing left." His voice was soft, but absolutely lethal. "Do we understand each other?" Diane nodded, her face pale. "Good," Tiang said. "Now I suggest you leave. You are no longer welcome at this party." He guided Vivian away, his hand warm and reassuring on her back. They returned to the center of the ballroom where Grandmother Hana was holding court with a group of society matrons. "Is everything all right, dear?" Grandmother Hana asked, her sharp eyes missing nothing. "Everything is fine," Vivian said. "Just some unwelcome guests." Grandmother Hana's expression hardened. Where are they? Leaving, Tiang said. I made it clear they were not welcome. Good Grandmother Hana said. She turned to Vivian with a gentle smile. You do not need those people in your life anymore, dear. You have us now. The rest of the party passed more smoothly. Vivian danced with Tiang again, accepted congratulations from strangers, and tried to ignore the whispers that followed her. Some people were kind, genuinely wishing them happiness. Others were clearly skeptical, wondering what a billionaire CEO saw in a nobody from the countryside. But Vivian held her head high. She might not have grown up in wealth and privilege, but she was not ashamed of where she came from. Her grandmother had taught her to be proud of her roots, to value strength of character over material possessions. As the party finally wound down near midnight and the last guests departed, Vivian felt exhaustion wash over her. Her feet hurt from the high heels, her face hurt from smiling, and her head hurt from all the judgmental stares and whispered comments. You did beautifully tonight, Tiang said, as they walked back through the quiet house. My grandmother is very proud of you. I felt like an imposter, Vivian admitted. Like everyone could see I did not belong. You belonged more than half the people there, Tiang said. They were all performing, putting on masks. You were genuine. That is rare in this world. They reached Vivian's bedroom door and stopped. Tiang hesitated, seeming like he wanted to say something more. Thank you, Vivian said, for defending me tonight, against Diane. You do not need to thank me, Tiang said. You are going to be my wife. Even if it is just for a year, I will not let anyone disrespect you. Vivian looked up at him and felt that electric connection again. They were standing close, close enough that she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from his body. Good night, Vivian, Tiang said softly. Good night, Vivian replied. But neither of them moved. They stood there in the quiet hallway, the space between them charged with something neither of them wanted to name. Finally, Tiang stepped back. Sleep well. Tomorrow we have to register the marriage at the courthouse. Just a formality. Just a formality, Vivian repeated, trying to ignore the way her heart was racing. After he left, Vivian went into her room and carefully removed the beautiful dress. She hung it in the closet and changed into comfortable pajamas. As she washed off the makeup and took down her hair, she thought about everything that had happened. 1 week ago, she had been a servant in the Carter house, invisible and unwanted. Tonight, she had been the center of attention at a party with 200 guests, wearing a custom gown, standing beside a billionaire who defended her against her abusers. Her life had changed, so dramatically, it still did not feel real. But as Vivian climbed into bed and pulled the soft covers around her, she felt something she had not felt in years. Hope. Maybe, just maybe, this strange arrangement with Tiang Kim could be the beginning of something better. A chance to discover who she really was when she was not being crushed under the weight of other people's expectations. She fell asleep thinking about the way Tiang had looked at her tonight, like she mattered, like she was worth defending, like she was someone special. The next morning, Vivian and Tiang went to the courthouse to officially register their marriage. It was a surprisingly simple process, just paperwork and signatures, nothing romantic or ceremonial about it. They signed the documents with a government official as witness, received their marriage certificate, and that was it. They were legally married. In the car on the way back to the estate, Tiang cleared his throat. I know this is not how most people want to get married, he said. No big wedding, no ceremony, just paperwork. I am sorry it is not more special. It is fine, Vivian said. We both know what this is. A practical arrangement. Right, Tiang said, practical. But something in his tone made Vivian glance at him. He was staring out the window with an unreadable expression. Are you having second thoughts, she asked. No, Tiang said quickly. No, he paused. I want you to know that even though this started as a contract, I will treat you with respect. You are my wife now, even if it is temporary. That means something to me. Vivian felt warmth spread through her chest. Thank you, that means a lot. When they arrived back at the estate, Grandmother Hana was waiting with champagne and a small celebration with just the household staff. She gave a touching speech about new beginnings and family, and Vivian felt tears prick her eyes again. That afternoon, Grandmother Hannah sat down with Vivian in her private study. "Now that you are officially married," she said, "we need to discuss your future. You said you wanted to return to university, correct?" "Yes," Vivian said. "I was studying fashion design before the Carters made me drop out. I had dreams of becoming a designer, maybe starting my own label someday." Grandmother Hannah smiled. "Then we will make that dream come true. I have already contacted Ashford University. They have an excellent fashion program. I have made arrangements for you to re-enroll. Classes start next week." "Next week," Vivian repeated. "So soon." "Why wait?" Grandmother Hannah said. "You have already lost 6 years. Let us not waste any more time." Vivian felt overwhelmed. "I do not know what to say. Thank you does not seem like enough." "You can thank me by succeeding," Grandmother Hannah said. "Show the world what you are capable of. Show the Carters that they were fools to suppress your talent. And show yourself that you are so much more than they made you believe." Over the next few days, Vivian settled into her new life. She spent time exploring the Kim estate, discovering beautiful gardens and quiet corners where she could sit and think. She got to know the staff, all of whom treated her with kindness and respect. She had meals with Grandmother Hannah and Tiang, getting to know them better, learning about their lives and interests. Tiang was busy with work most days, leaving early and returning late. But he always made time for dinner with Vivian and his grandmother. And sometimes, late at night, he would knock on Vivian's door and they would talk for hours about everything and nothing. Their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. Vivian learned that Tiang had always been close to his mother before she died. That his father had become distant and cold after her death, drowning himself in work until he too passed away 5 years ago. That Grandmother Hannah was the only real family he had left. And Tiang learned about Vivian's grandmother, about growing up in the countryside, about the Carters' cruelty. He listened without judgment, without pity, just accepting her story as part of who she was. They were becoming friends, Vivian realized. Despite the strange circumstances of their marriage, despite the contract that said this was temporary, they were connecting in a real way. On Monday morning, Tiang insisted on driving Vivian to Ashford University himself. The campus was beautiful, all historic buildings mixed with modern architecture, wide green lawns, and students hurrying between classes with backpacks and coffee cups. "Are you nervous?" Tiang asked, as he pulled up to the entrance. Terrified, Vivian admitted. "It has been 6 years since I was in school. What if I cannot keep up? What if everyone is younger and smarter than me?" "You are brilliant," Tiang said firmly. "You will do great, and if anyone gives you trouble, call me. I will come immediately." "You do not have to do that," Vivian said. "You are busy." "Vivian," Tiang said, turning to look at her directly. "You are my wife. You are more important than any business meeting. Do not forget that." Vivian felt her heart flutter. "Thank you." As she walked through the campus toward her first class, Vivian tried to calm her racing heart. She was wearing clothes from her new wardrobe, simple but expensive jeans, and a cashmere sweater that probably cost more than her entire wardrobe at the Carters combined. Her hair was styled nicely, and she carried a designer bag with her new laptop and notebooks. She looked like she belonged here. Now she just had to convince herself. Her first class was fashion design theory in a large lecture hall. Vivian found a seat near the middle and pulled out her notebook. Other students filed in, chatting with friends, laughing. They all seemed so young and carefree. Vivian felt ancient in comparison. The professor entered and began the lecture. Vivian took notes carefully, surprised by how easily the material came back to her. She had always loved design, loved the way fabric could be transformed into something beautiful and meaningful. Even during the 6 years at the Carters, she had sketched in secret whenever she had a spare moment, keeping her dream alive. After class, Vivian was gathering her things when someone tapped her shoulder. "Excuse me, are you Vivian Carter?" Vivian turned to see a young woman with friendly eyes and a warm smile. "Yes, that is me," Vivian said. "I am Maya," the woman said. "I recognized you from the photos online. You are engaged to Tiang Kim, right? That is so exciting." "Oh," Vivian said, not sure how to respond. "Yes, we just got married actually." Married? Maya's eyes went wide. Wow, that is amazing. Welcome to Ashford. If you need help navigating campus or anything, let me know. Fashion students have to stick together. Thank you, Vivian said, genuinely grateful. That is very kind. As they walked out of the classroom together, Maya chatted about the program, the professors, the best places to study on campus. Vivian felt herself relaxing. Maybe this would not be so bad after all. But then she saw her. Celeste, standing in the hallway outside the classroom, surrounded by a group of girls who were clearly her followers. She was wearing an expensive designer dress and had her hair styled elaborately. When she saw Vivian, her expression twisted into pure hatred. Well, Celeste said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. If it is not my dear sister Vivian, I did not know you were coming to Ashford. Vivian felt her stomach drop. She had hoped to avoid Celeste on campus. Clearly, that was not going to happen. Hello, Celeste, she said quietly. Everyone, Celeste announced to the crowd gathering to watch. This is my sister Vivian. She is engaged to Tiong Kim. Maybe you have seen the photos online. She is quite the talk of the town. Her tone made it clear this was not a compliment. Of course, what the photos do not show is how she trapped him, Celeste continued. She climbed into his bed and made sure she got pregnant, or at least made him think she might be. Classic gold digger move. That is not true, Vivian said, her face burning with humiliation. Oh, please, Celeste laughed. We all know how it works. You saw an opportunity and you took it. I cannot say I blame you. Growing up poor like you did, you probably dreamed of finding a rich man to save you. The students around them whispered and stared. Vivian felt frozen, unable to defend herself against the lies Celeste was spinning. My family took her, and out of pity, Celeste told her audience. We gave her everything. A home, food, clothes, and this is how she repays us. By stealing the man who should have been mine. Wait, Maya spoke up. You are sisters, but you were competing for the same man. That is messed up. We are not biological sisters, Celeste said quickly. She is adopted, found in some rural backwater. We felt sorry for her, but apparently charity is wasted on people like her. That is enough, an authoritative voice cut through the crowd. Everyone turned to see a middle-aged man in an expensive suit striding toward them. He had an official-looking badge and an air of command that made students step aside. I am Mr. Park, the Dean of Student Affairs, he said, and I will not tolerate bullying on this campus. Miss Celeste, you need to come with me, now. Celeste's face went pale. I was just talking to my sister. You were publicly humiliating another student, Mr. Park said firmly. That violates our code of conduct. Come with me. We need to have a serious discussion about your future at this university. As Celeste was led away, her followers scattered. The crowd dispersed quickly, not wanting to be associated with someone in trouble with the administration. Maya turned to Vivian with concern. Are you okay? I do not understand what just happened, Vivian said. How did the dean know to come? Her phone buzzed, a text from Tiong. I have people watching out for you on campus. No one will hurt you. Are you okay? Vivian smiled despite the lingering embarrassment. He had anticipated that Celeste might cause trouble and had arranged protection. She texted back. I am fine. Thank you for looking out for me. The response came immediately. Always. The rest of the week at Ashford passed more smoothly. Celeste avoided Vivian after her meeting with the dean, apparently having been warned that another incident would result in suspension. Word had spread quickly about what happened, and most students now treated Vivian with respect, or at least stayed neutral. Maya became a good friend, introducing Vivian to other fashion students and helping her navigate the social dynamics of campus. Vivian threw herself into her coursework, spending long hours in the studio working on design projects. She loved it. For the first time in 6 years, she felt like she was using her brain, expressing her creativity, becoming the person she was meant to be. Her professors noticed her talent immediately. In particular, Professor Lee, a renowned designer who taught the advanced design course, took Vivian under her wing. You have a natural eye for color and form, Professor Lee told her after class one day. Your work is raw, but there is real genius there. Have you thought about entering the university design competition? There is a competition, Vivian asked. Every semester, Professor Lee said. The winner gets their designs featured in a showcase during Fashion Week and often receives job offers from major design houses. It is a huge opportunity. I am just getting back into school, Vivian said. I do not think I am ready for something like that. Nonsense, Professor Lee said. You have as much talent as anyone in this program, more than most. Do not let self-doubt hold you back. That night, Vivian told Tiang about the conversation over dinner. You should enter, he said immediately. But I have only been back in school for a week, Vivian protested. And you are already impressing your professors, Tiang said. Why wait? Take the chance. What if I fail? Vivian said quietly. What if you succeed? Tiang countered. Vivian, you have spent 6 years being told you are worthless, but you are not. You are talented, smart, and capable. It is time you started believing that. Grandmother Hana nodded in agreement. Tiang is right. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Enter the competition. Show everyone what you can do. Encouraged by their support, Vivian decided to enter. She threw herself into designing her competition piece, working late into the night in the studio. Her concept was bold, a fusion of traditional African prints with modern Korean silhouettes, representing her own journey of bringing together different worlds. She sketched and re-sketched, experimented with fabrics and colors, pushed herself harder than she ever had. And slowly, the design came together. Something unique, beautiful, and powerful. Professor Lee was impressed when Vivian showed her the preliminary sketches. This is extraordinary, she said. The cultural fusion, the symbolism, the technical execution. This could win. Really, Vivian asked, hardly daring to hope. Really, Professor Lee confirmed. Keep working on it. Perfect every detail. This could be your breakthrough. 2 weeks into the semester, Vivian was leaving her last class of the day when she was approached by a guy she recognized from her design theory class. His name was Eric, and he had been friendly, often sitting near her and making small talk before the professor arrived. Hey, Vivian, he said, do you have a minute? Sure, Vivian said. What's up? I was wondering if you would want to study together sometime, Eric said. Maybe grab coffee. I could really use help understanding color theory, and you seem to really get it. Vivian hesitated. The offer seemed innocent enough, but something felt off about the way Eric was looking at her. I appreciate the offer, but I have a pretty full schedule, Vivian said politely. Between classes and working on my competition piece, I do not have much free time. Come on, just one coffee, Eric pressed. I promise I will make it worth your while. I know a great place off campus, very private, very cozy. The way he emphasized private made Vivian's skin crawl. I am married, Vivian said firmly. I do not think that would be appropriate. Eric's friendly expression slipped for a moment, revealing something darker underneath. Come on, Vivian. Everyone knows that marriage is just a business arrangement. Tiang Kim probably barely pays attention to you. A woman like you needs someone who appreciates her. He stepped closer, and Vivian stepped back. I said no, Vivian said, her voice sharp. Please leave me alone. Playing hard to get, Eric said with a smirk. I like that. Makes it more fun. He reached out to touch her arm, but before he could make contact, someone grabbed his wrist. Hard. Tiang had appeared from nowhere, his expression absolutely murderous. She said no, Tiang said, his voice deadly quiet. Do you need me to clarify what that means? Eric paled, trying to pull his arm free. Mr. Kim, I did not mean anything by it. We were just talking. You were harassing my wife, Tiang said, on camera. He gestured to the security camera, mounted on the building nearby. I have connections with the university administration, he continued. One word from me and you will be expelled for sexual harassment. Is that what you want? No, Eric said quickly. No, sir, I am sorry, I will leave her alone. You will do more than that, Tiang said. You will avoid her completely. If I hear that you have spoken to her, looked at her, or come anywhere near her, I will make sure you not only get expelled, but that no university in the country will accept you. Do we understand each other? Yes, sir, Eric said, and practically ran away when Tiang released his wrist. Tiang turned to Vivian with concern. Are you all right? I am fine, Vivian said, though her hands were shaking. Thank you for... Wait, how did you know where I was? I told you I have people watching out for you, Tiang said. When they reported that someone was bothering you, I came immediately. You did not have to do that, Vivian said. Yes, I did, Tiang said firmly. Vivian, I meant what I said. You are my wife. Even if this is temporary, even if this started as a business arrangement, you are under my protection. Anyone who tries to hurt you will answer to me. Vivian felt emotion well up in her chest. No one had ever protected her like this before. No one had ever made her feel like she was worth defending. Thank you, she said softly. Come on, Tiang said, his expression softening. Let me take you home. In the car, Vivian was quiet, processing what had happened. Not just the incident with Eric, but the way Tiang had reacted. The fury in his eyes when Eric touched her. The protective way he had put himself between them. The absolute certainty in his voice when he said she was his to protect. This did not feel like a business arrangement anymore. Are you sure you are okay? Tiang asked, glancing at her with concern. I am fine, Vivian said, just thinking. About what? About us, Vivian admitted. About how this feels less like a contract every day. Tiang was quiet for a long moment. I know, he said finally. I feel it too. What do we do about it? Vivian asked. I do not know, Tiang said honestly, but maybe we do not have to figure it out right now. Maybe we just see where this goes. No expectations, Vivian said. No expectations, Tiang agreed. Just us, being honest with each other. Vivian smiled. I can do that. When they arrived home, Grandmother Hana was waiting with concern in her eyes. Is everything all right? She asked. Tiang texted that there was an incident. Everything is fine, Vivian assured her. Just a misunderstanding that Tiang helped clear up. Grandmother Hana looked between them, her sharp eyes missing nothing. Good, she said finally. I am glad you are looking out for each other. That is what marriage should be. Partnership, protection, care. She smiled knowingly. Even if it started as just a contract. 3 weeks into the semester, Professor Lee announced that the university design competition submissions were due in 2 weeks. The entire class buzzed with excitement and anxiety. Vivian had been working on her design nonstop, refining every detail until it was perfect. She called it 2 Worlds, 1 Heart, and it represented her journey of bridging her African heritage with her new life in Korean society. The design featured a gown with a traditional Korean silhouette, but made from African kente cloth in bold golds and blacks. The bodice was embroidered with both Adinkra symbols and Korean knotwork. It was striking, unique, and deeply personal. When she showed her final design to Professor Lee, the older woman studied it in silence for a long time. This is remarkable, Professor Lee said finally. Vivian, this is not just a good design. This is art. This is a statement. This could win not just the university competition, but major awards. Do you really think so? Vivian asked. I know so, Professor Lee said. Submit this, and prepare yourself. This is going to change your life. That night at dinner, Vivian told Tiang and Grandmother Hana about Professor Lee's reaction. I want to see it, Grandmother Hana said immediately. It is not finished, yet Vivian protested. I still need to make some adjustments. Show us anyway, Tiang said, please. So Vivian brought down her design portfolio and laid out the sketches and fabric samples on the dining room table. Both Tiang and Grandmother Hana studied them carefully. Oh, my dear Grandmother, Hana said, her voice thick with emotion. This is beautiful. The way you have woven together these 2 cultures. It is like you are telling your own story through the design. It is exactly that, Vivian said quietly. This is who I am, caught between 2 worlds, trying to find where I belong. Tiang reached out and took her hand. You belong here, he said, with us, with me. The moment stretched between them, charged with unspoken feelings. Grandmother Hana smiled and quietly excused herself, leaving them alone. Vivian, Tiang said, there is something I need to tell you. Okay, Vivian said, her heart starting to race. This contract we made, Tiang said. This arrangement where we stay married for a year and then divorce. I do not think I want that anymore. What do you mean? Vivian asked. I mean, Tiang said, moving closer to her. I have spent the last month getting to know you, the real you, and I do not want this to be temporary. I do not want you to leave after a year. He cupped her face gently with both hands. I want this to be real, Vivian. I want us to be real. Vivian felt tears spring to her eyes. I want that too, she whispered. I have wanted that for weeks, but I was afraid to say it. Why were you afraid? Tiang asked. Because you are you, Vivian said. Brilliant, successful, and wealthy. And I am just me, a girl from nowhere with nothing to offer. You are everything, Tiang said fiercely. You are brave, talented, and kind. You have survived so much and you have not let it break you. You are the strongest person I know. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. But Vivian did not pull away. She leaned in too, and their lips met in a kiss that felt like coming home. It was soft at first, tentative, both of them afraid to push too hard. But then Tiang deepened the kiss and Vivian melted into him. His arms came around her, holding her close, and she felt safe in a way she had never felt before. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathless. So Tiang said, does this mean we are really married now, not just on paper? Vivian smiled. Yes, we are really married. Good, Tiang said, because I was not looking forward to letting you go. They spent the rest of that evening talking about their future. Not the contractual future they had planned, but a real future. Together, building a life, maybe having children someday, growing old together. It felt like a dream, but it was real. This was really happening. The day of the design competition arrived, and Vivian was a bundle of nerves. She had submitted her design weeks ago, and now she was waiting to find out if she had made it to the finals. Only 10 designers out of 50 submissions would be selected for the final showcase. The announcement would be made at noon in the main auditorium. Vivian sat with Maya and a few other friends from her classes, all of them anxiously waiting. Professor Lee walked onto the stage with a list in her hand. Good afternoon, everyone, she said. Thank you all for your patience. The judging panel has reviewed all submissions, and we are pleased to announce the finalists for this semester's design competition. She began reading names. Each one was met with cheers and applause. Vivian felt her stomach churning. What if she did not make it? What if Professor Lee had been wrong about her design? And finally, Professor Lee said, Vivian Kim. Vivian gasped. That was her. She had made it. She was a finalist. Maya hugged her excitedly. You did it. I knew you would. The 10 finalists were asked to stay after the announcement for a meeting with Professor Lee and the judging panel. As Vivian made her way to the front of the auditorium, she saw Celeste sitting in the back row, glaring at her with pure hatred. Celeste had also submitted a design, but clearly had not made the finals. Vivian tried not to feel satisfied about that, tried and failed. The meeting with the judges was intimidating. They were all established designers and fashion industry professionals. They asked Vivian detailed questions about her design concept, her choice of materials, her technical approach. She answered as best she could, trying to sound confident even though her hands were shaking. Your design is very ambitious, one of the judges said. Fusing 2 distinct cultural aesthetics is risky. How are you planning to execute this technically? Vivian explained her process, how she would construct the garment, what techniques she would use to integrate the different fabrics and embellishments. The judges listened carefully and asked follow-up questions. Finally, Professor Lee smiled. Thank you, Vivian. We will announce the winner in 2 weeks at the showcase event. The event will be held during Fashion Week and will be attended by major industry professionals. This is a huge opportunity for all of you. As Vivian left the meeting, her phone buzzed. A text from Tiang. Did you make the finals? Vivian called him immediately. I did, she said, unable to keep the excitement out of her voice. I am a finalist. I knew you would be, Tiang said. I am so proud of you. We need to celebrate. I am taking you out to dinner tonight. Somewhere fancy, wear something beautiful. Everything you bought me is beautiful, Vivian said with a laugh. Then wear something that makes you feel beautiful, Tiang said. I will pick you up at 7. That evening, Vivian wore a dress in deep burgundy that made her skin glow. She styled her hair in soft curls and wore the diamond earrings grandmother Hana had given her as a wedding gift. When Tiang saw her, his eyes went wide. "You look incredible," he said. "So do you," Vivian replied. And he did, in a perfectly tailored dark suit that emphasized his broad shoulders and lean frame. They went to an exclusive restaurant on the top floor of a skyscraper with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The maitre d' greeted Tiang by name and led them to a private table in a quiet corner. Over dinner, they talked about Vivian's design, about the competition, about her growing confidence in her abilities. Tiang listened with genuine interest, asking questions, offering encouragement. "You know," Vivian said, "a few months ago I never would have believed this could be my life. Married to an amazing man, going to university, competing in design competitions. It feels like a dream." "It is not a dream," Tiang said, reaching across the table to take her hand. "This is real. You deserve all of this and more." "How did I get so lucky?" Vivian asked. "I am the lucky one," Tiang said. "You came into my life and changed everything. Before you, I thought I was destined to be alone, isolated by my condition, unable to touch or be touched. But you made me feel human again." Vivian felt tears prick her eyes. "You make me feel valued, like I matter, like I am not just someone's servant but someone worth caring about." "You matter so much," Tiang said. "You matter to me more than anything." After dinner, they walked through the city together, hand in hand. The streets were busy with people enjoying the evening, and Vivian felt a sense of peace she had never experienced before. This was her life now, this wonderful, improbable, beautiful life, and she was going to fight to keep it. With only 1 week until the showcase, Vivian was spending all her free time in the university studio completing her garment. The fabric was expensive and difficult to work with, requiring precision and patience. But it was coming together beautifully, better than she had even imagined. One evening, she was working late when she realized she had left her portfolio in Professor Lee's office. She needed the final sketches to complete the embroidery details on the bodice. The building was mostly empty at this hour, just a few other dedicated students working on their projects. Vivian walked down the quiet hallway to Professor Lee's office and used the key the professor had given all the finalists for access to supplies and reference materials. She found her portfolio and was about to leave when she heard voices coming from one of the classrooms nearby. Curious, she moved closer and realized with shock that one of the voices was Celeste. "I can pay you well," Celeste was saying. "All you have to do is ruin her work. Spill something on the fabric, cut some key seams, make it look like an accident. She will not have time to repair it before the showcase." "I do not know," another voice said. "That seems pretty extreme. What if we get caught?" "We will not get caught," Celeste said. "You will do it late at night when no one is around. Just make sure it is damaged enough that she cannot fix it in time." Vivian felt cold fury wash over her. Celeste was trying to sabotage her competition piece. She pulled out her phone and started recording the conversation. "Fine," the other voice said, "but you better pay me what you promised." "I will," Celeste said. $5,000 once Vivian is disqualified." Vivian had heard enough. She marched into the classroom where Celeste and another student were standing. "So this is what you have stooped to," Vivian said. "Sabotage." Celeste spun around, her face going pale. "Vivian, how long have you been there?" "Long enough," Vivian said, holding up her phone. "I recorded everything. You trying to bribe someone to destroy my work. I wonder what the university administration will think about this." "You would not dare," Celeste said. "Watch me," Vivian replied. She turned to leave, but Celeste grabbed her arm. "Wait," Celeste said desperately. "Please. If you report this, I will be expelled. My life will be ruined." "You should have thought of that before trying to ruin mine," Vivian said coldly, pulling her arm free. "Please," Celeste said, and for the first time Vivian heard real fear in her voice. "I am sorry. I know I have treated you terribly, but I was jealous. You have everything now, the rich husband, the beautiful life, the talent, and what do I have? Nothing." "You have exactly what you deserve," Vivian said. You spent years making me miserable. Why should I show you mercy now? Because you are better than me, Celeste said quietly. You always have been. Even when we treated you like dirt, you stayed kind. You stayed strong. I do not know how you did it. Vivian stared at her for a long moment. Then she sighed. I am not going to report this, she said, but only because I do not want the drama and distraction right before the showcase. Stay away from me, Celeste. Stay away from my work. And stay away from my family. If I ever catch you trying something like this again, I will not be so generous. She left without another word, her hands shaking with adrenaline. When she got back to her studio space, she immediately texted Tiang and told him what had happened. He called her within seconds. Are you all right? He demanded. I am fine, Vivian said. I handled it. Did you report her to the university? Tiang asked. No, Vivian said. I just want her to leave me alone. Reporting her would just create more drama. Vivian, Tiang said. She tried to destroy your work. She does not deserve your mercy. Maybe not, Vivian said, but I do not want to be someone who is vindictive. I just want to focus on my work and my life. Besides, I think she knows she crossed a line. I think she is actually scared. You are a better person than she deserves, Tiang said, but I respect your decision. Just promise me you will tell me if she tries anything else. I promise, Vivian said. After they hung up, Vivian sat in her studio and took some deep breaths. The confrontation with Celeste had shaken her more than she wanted to admit, but she had stood up for herself. She had not cowered or backed down. She had been strong. And that felt good. While Vivian focused on her competition, the Carter family was falling apart. Without Vivian's connection to the Kim family, and with Tiang actively blocking their business deals, Carter Enterprises was hemorrhaging money. Devin tried to salvage things by cutting costs and laying off employees. Bernard tried to court new investors, but everyone in the industry knew the Carters were desperate. Diane sold off jewelry and luxury goods to cover personal expenses. And Celeste, having failed out of the design program after her attempted sabotage was discovered by other students, found herself with no prospects and no future. One evening, Diane showed up at the Kim estate, begging to see Vivian. The security guards initially turned her away, but Vivian, hearing the commotion, told them to let her mother in. They met in a formal sitting room. Diane looked haggard, her expensive clothes now slightly worn, her hair less perfectly styled than before. She had aged years in just a few months. What do you want? Vivian asked, keeping her voice neutral. I came to apologize, Diane said, for everything, for how we treated you, for not appreciating you, for taking you for granted. Vivian said nothing, just waited. We are losing everything, Diane continued. The company is bankrupt. We are going to lose the house. I do not know what we are going to do. She looked up at Vivian with desperate eyes. Please, she said, I am begging you. Help us. You are married to one of the richest men in the world. Surely you could convince him to invest in Carter Enterprises, or just give us some money to tide us over. Vivian felt no satisfaction in seeing her adoptive mother beg. Just a hollow sadness for the years she had wasted hoping these people would love her. No, Vivian said simply. No, Diane repeated. That is it, just no. Just no, Vivian confirmed. You treated me like a servant for 6 years. You never made me feel like family. You only want me now because I have something you need. That is not family. That is using someone. But we gave you a home, Diane protested. We fed you and clothed you. You fed me scraps after everyone else ate, Vivian said. You gave me worn-out hand-me-downs. You made me sleep in a closet-sized room while Celeste had a suite. You took me from my grandmother and made me into your unpaid maid. We made mistakes, Diane admitted, but we are family. Does that not mean anything? It should, Vivian said, but you taught me that it does not. Not to you, so why should it mean something to me now? Diane's face crumpled. Please, she whispered, I am sorry. I know I do not deserve your help, but we are desperate. Then you should understand how I felt every day living in your house, Vivian said. Desperate for kindness. Desperate for belonging. Desperate for someone to see me as worth caring about. You know what that desperation feels like now, and I hope it teaches you something. She stood up. I am not going to help you, Vivian said. Not financially, not with my connections. You are on your own, just like you left me on my own all those years. Diane left in tears. Vivian watched her go and felt nothing. No triumph, no revenge, just a quiet sense of closure. Later that night, she told Tiang what had happened. How do you feel, he asked, pulling her into his arms. I feel free, Vivian said, like I finally cut the last thread connecting me to that place, that life. I do not hate them. I do not wish them harm. I do not care anymore. That is healthy, Tiang said. You do not owe them anything. You have paid your debt 10 times over just by surviving them. Vivian nodded against his chest. I have you now, and grandmother Hana, and my new life. That is all I need. The final week before the showcase was intense. Vivian barely slept, putting the finishing touches on her garment. Every stitch had to be perfect, every embroidered symbol precisely placed, every detail considered. Professor Lee stopped by the studio frequently to check on the finalists. When she saw Vivian's completed gown hanging on the dress form, she actually gasped. Vivian, she said, I do not even have words. This is museum quality work. Really, Vivian asked, too tired to feel anything but mild surprise. Really, Professor Lee confirmed. I have been teaching for 20 years and I have never seen a student produce something this accomplished. You are going to win. I am sure of it. The day before the showcase, all the finalists had a rehearsal at the venue, a prestigious gallery space in the fashion district. Vivian saw her competition for the first time. The other designs were good, some of them excellent, but as she looked around, she felt a quiet confidence. Her work belonged here. She belonged here. That evening, Grandmother Hana insisted on having a family dinner to celebrate. She had the chef prepare a feast and invited some close family friends. It was a warm, loving gathering, and Vivian felt surrounded by people who genuinely cared about her. Tomorrow is a big day, Grandmother Hana said, raising her glass. But win or lose, I am proud of you, Vivian. You have grown so much in these few months. You have found your voice and your strength. That is worth more than any trophy. Vivian felt tears sting her eyes. Thank you for everything, for taking a chance on me, for treating me like family. You are family, Grandmother Hana said firmly. Not because of the marriage contract, because of who you are, because you have a good heart. I love you like my own granddaughter. I love you too, Vivian said. After dinner, Tiang walked with Vivian in the gardens. The night was clear and cool and stars sparkled overhead. Are you nervous about tomorrow, he asked. Terrified, Vivian admitted. What if I do not win? What if my design is not good enough? Then you will still have created something beautiful, Tiang said, and you will have proven to yourself that you can compete at this level. That is a victory in itself. He stopped walking and turned to face her. But for what it is worth, he said, I think you are going to win. I have seen your work, Vivian. It is extraordinary. It has heart and meaning and technical brilliance. The judges would be fools not to choose you. Thank you, Vivian said, standing on her toes to kiss him, for believing in me even when I struggle to believe in myself. Always, Tiang said, I will always believe in you. The day of the showcase arrived and Vivian woke early, her stomach in knots. Tiang had already left for an early meeting, but he had left a note on her pillow. You are going to be amazing today. I am so proud to be your husband. I will be there tonight cheering loudest of all. I love you. T. Vivian clutched the note to her chest and felt some of her anxiety ease. She was not alone in this. She had people who loved her and supported her. She arrived at the gallery mid-morning to help set up. Each finalist had been assigned a display area for their garment and given space to present their design concept. Vivian carefully arranged her gown on a professional mannequin and set up her mood board with sketches and fabric samples. When everything was in place, she stepped back to look at the full presentation. Her design looked even better in the gallery lighting. The colors glowed, the embroidery caught the light, the silhouette was elegant and powerful. I can do this, Vivian whispered to herself. I belong here. The doors opened at 7 that evening, and the gallery quickly filled with people. Fashion industry professionals, journalists, university faculty, students, and special guests. Vivian saw grandmother Hana arrive with Tiang, both dressed elegantly and beaming with pride. The judging would take place over the next 2 hours as the judges circulated among the displays, talking to each designer, examining each garment closely. Then they would deliberate and announce the winner. Vivian stood by her display, trying not to fidget as people examined her work. Many stopped to compliment her on the design, on the technical skill, on the cultural significance. She answered questions as best she could, explaining her concept, her process, her inspiration. One of the judges, a famous designer named André Laurent, spent a long time studying her gown. "This is remarkable work," he said in his French-accented English. "The way you have merged these two distinct aesthetics without losing the integrity of either. It is very difficult to do. Many designers try fusion and it becomes muddled. But this is clear, strong, and beautiful." "Thank you," Vivian said. "That means so much coming from you." "Where did you study before Ashford?" he asked. "This level of skill usually comes from years of training." "I did not," Vivian admitted. "I had 1 year at university before I had to drop out. I have been out of school for 6 years. This is my first semester back." André Laurent's eyebrows rose. "6 years away and you produce this. You have natural talent, Miss Kim. Exceptional talent." After he moved on, Vivian let out a breath she had not realized she was holding. Maybe she really had a chance at this. At 9 o'clock, the gallery lights dimmed and everyone gathered in the main space. The judging panel took the stage and Professor Lee stepped up to the microphone. "Good evening, everyone," she said. "Thank you all for coming to celebrate our talented students. We have been deeply impressed by the level of work on display tonight. All 10 of our finalists have created pieces worthy of recognition." She paused for effect. "However, there can only be one winner. The designer whose work will be featured in Fashion Week and who will receive a scholarship for continued study plus mentorship from our esteemed panel of judges." Vivian felt her heart hammering. Beside her, Maya squeezed her hand. "This year's winner," Professor Lee continued, "is a designer who brought cultural authenticity, technical excellence, and deep personal meaning to her work. Her design tells a story of bridging worlds, of finding identity, of celebrating heritage while embracing the future." She smiled warmly. "The winner is Vivian Kim." For a moment, Vivian could not move. Then the gallery erupted in applause and Maya was hugging her and people were congratulating her. She made her way to the stage in a daze, accepting the trophy and certificate with shaking hands. "Would you like to say a few words?" Professor Lee asked. Vivian approached the microphone, looking out at the crowd. She saw Tiang and grandmother Hana in the front row, both beaming with pride. And she saw something else. In the back, barely visible, Devon and Diane and even Celeste had come. They looked devastated, realizing once and for all that she had truly left them behind. "Thank you," Vivian said, her voice only shaking slightly. I do not even have words. A few months ago, I thought my dreams of being a designer were over. I thought I would spend my life invisible and unvalued. But then I was given a second chance." She looked directly at grandmother Hana and Tiang. "I was given a family who believed in me, who supported me, who told me I was worth investing in, and I want to thank them for seeing potential in me when I could not see it in myself." She held up the trophy. "This award represents more than just a design competition win. It represents reclaiming my voice, my power, my future. To anyone out there who has been told they are not good enough, that their dreams do not matter, that they should settle for less than they deserve, I want to say do not believe it. You are capable of so much more than the people who try to diminish you can imagine." The applause was thunderous. People were on their feet cheering, and Vivian felt a sense of triumph, joy, and completion wash over her. She had done it. She had not just survived. She had thrived. After the ceremony, Vivian was surrounded by well-wishers. Industry professionals gave her their business cards, journalists asked for interviews, and fellow students congratulated her warmly. But she only had eyes for Tiang, who pushed through the crowd to wrap her in his arms. "I am so proud of you," he said. "You were incredible up there." "We did it," Vivian said. "We really did it." "No," Tiang said. "You did it. This is your victory, your talent, your hard work. I just get to be the lucky man who is married to you." Grandmother Hannah joined them, tears streaming down her face. "Oh, my dear girl," she said, "I knew you were special from the moment I met you. But watching you shine tonight, it was magnificent." "Thank you," Vivian said, hugging her, "for everything, for giving me this chance." "You gave yourself this chance," Grandmother Hannah said. "We just opened the door. You walked through it and conquered." As they prepared to leave the gallery, Vivian spotted the Carters lurking near the exit. For a moment, their eyes met, and Vivian felt nothing. No anger, no resentment, no need for revenge. She had moved beyond them completely. She had won, not by destroying them, but by becoming successful in spite of them. And that was the sweetest victory of all. That's where we end part 2. Vivian has won the design competition, proven her worth to the world, and fully embraced her new life with Tiang. But the story isn't over yet. In part 3, we'll see what happens when old enemies try one last desperate move, when secrets about Vivian's past come to light, and when she and Tiang face their biggest test yet. Will their love survive? Will Vivian's success continue to grow? And what final fate awaits the Carter family? Find out in part 3, coming soon. If you loved this part of the story, please like this video, comment below your favorite moment, tell me where you're watching from, subscribe to never miss an update, and share this with anyone who loves romance stories. Your support means everything. See you in part 3.